This time I'd like to call the February 16th, 2023 regular meeting of the Common Council. City Pledge to order. It's 5:03 p.m. Please rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty. Will you please conduct the roll call?
Mayor Rosenquist. Here. Councilor Vaughn. Here. Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Councilor Gibb. Here. Councilor Talon. Here. Councilor Bob.
Here.
Councilor Moore.
Here. All councilors have received a copy of the minutes of the January 19th, 2023 organizational meeting. If there are no additions, deletions, or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to accept the minutes as presented. Motion by Councilor Gibbs. Second. Councilor Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. I'll now recognize those in the audience who wish to share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Please come to the podium to be acknowledged. When called upon, we ask that you please state your legal name and address for the record. In accordance with the organizational rules of order, all speakers will be given 5 minutes to address the council.
Mayor, on February 15th, 2023, we received an email from Daniel Erb and it was forwarded to the mayor and council.
Thank you.
My name is Kim Hartshorn, 75 Prospect in the city. So during this budgetary season, there's a lot of people have many elements in a budgetary agenda. I know the city is part of that process, working with the state. But I was here that I retired from the college, and I just want to speak on behalf of the SUNY budget proposal. 19 campuses are in financial distress. 19 of the SUNY campuses, including every one of the comprehensives, which are essentially upstate campuses, including SUNY Plattsburgh. Some of you may have already spoken with President Ignetti or other representatives from UEP, but I would encourage the council and the mayor to perhaps form a letter of resolution in support of the SUNY budget to forward to the governor and the speaker and the Senate Majority Leader. This is funding SUNY is funding higher education, but for the upstate communities, it's a real economic driver. And it's really investing in SUNY is investing in upstate, investing in SUNY Plattsburgh is investing in the city. As an economic driver, it can't be beat dollar for dollar. It's the best investment the state makes. So, support for the SUNY budget that's in the governor's budget would be great. More support would be better. The campuses have been under austerity budgets for 10, 12 years now. Situation's getting worse. Thank you very much.
We'll now go into committee reports. Each standing committee is chaired by a councilor. I'll now call upon the chairperson of each committee, starting with city operations councilors.
Well, our meeting was on Monday and there's some of these resolutions on today's agenda.
Great, thank you. Finance and economic development. We did have our meeting last week. I believe that there are a number of items to review for consideration for tonight's agenda, including I believe is some of the Green Street work and the Skyward agreements on the planned agenda. Let's see, city infrastructure council.
Well, we had our monthly meeting on Monday, and several of the items will move forward to tonight's agenda.
Thank you. Public safety council. Bob.
Nothing to report at this time.
And now move on to liaison reports to Plattsburgh Public Library Council. Plattsburgh Municipal Lighting Department Council.
We haven't had a meeting yet this year, so I have nothing to report.
Climate Task Force, Councilor Gibbs, or Councilor Down.
Yeah,
We can split hands.
yeah, I'll talk about it.
We're on it, yeah.
So, our organics subcommittee, completed a food audit as per the Clinton County Health Department grant, requirements. And, myself and several volunteers were able to, collect food scraps from their kitchens from station 1 and 2. And our food hauler, Jen Perry, was extremely helpful, and we were able to divert around 30 pounds of food waste away from the landfill. So we're hoping that we can duplicate the food audit process in the remaining municipal buildings. Waiting for a few more things to hear from Rochelle, who's the coordinator here at the fair. Such as I was hoping we'd have a survey of the fire department employees and discussion of the MOU that's expired for Jen Perry. But I have to say that the fire department staff that I dealt with were just so fantastic, and that was the feedback I got from the volunteers who had to go to station 1 and 2. And I asked that be passed on to the employees. They were really great people to deal with, and many thanks. So stay tuned, and we're hoping to continue on.
Thank you.
And second of all, there's going to be an appointment to the task force and we member tonight, and we're very excited about that. Also, the task force is going to be working with the city of Plattsburgh for the event, so stay tuned for that.
Dean Schnell, or any staff member reports? No, sir. There are no special committee reports. I will note that senior planner has forwarded on traffic zone designation number 2023.1 for council review.
I think that was all I went on.
No, scratch that.
Scratching it. That was my mistake.
Never mind. That was loud. I was wondering if I said that. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Apologize. I'll now report audit of claims. The bills audited by the Common Council for the week ending January 27th, 2023 were in the amount of $2,542,171.62. February 3rd, 2023 in the amount of $876,719.58. February 10th, 2023 in the amount of $573,352.96. And February 17th, 2023 in the amount of $273,616.57. Yep, I also will report that the payrolls for the various city departments for the week ending January 25th, 2023 in the amount of $556,327.18 and February 8th, 2023 in the amount of $564,829.71. Before voting on the following resolutions, I'll note that the majority of these resolutions have been thoroughly discussed by the appropriate committees and department heads. And we're now taking action on these items in large part due to the recommendation of those committees. Ms. Carlin, will you please read the titles of the resolutions to be acted upon?
Item 7.22, establishing capital project H5110.93, 2023 Saranac River Trail Phase 3.
Motion by Councilor Kelly, second.
Motion.
Second by Councilor Bob, discussion.
Is this the one on Whitby Street, back Whitby Street?
No, this is the extension, this is the change in funding for the Saranac River Trail Phase 3, which connects, which will connect the future Riverwalk to Green Tree. But this is a change of the funding, the additional funding that we were previously receiving for Green Tree redevelopment.
Okay.
That was two. Those is two. The one over here.
Bridges.
That was River Trail Phase 2. River Trail Phase 1 is the one that goes beyond college. And Phase 3 is the one that's yet to be developed, but it starts on Bridge Street. Thank you.
This is coming from the 138 is still coming from NYSEG
Correct.
for not doing Green Street.
Well, we will still use that money to develop Green Street, but we will do it essentially on our own timeline versus when they were done, they were just gonna complete the work themselves. But rather, we're gonna do that work on their behalf essentially, but it's gonna contribute to the larger scale of River Trail Phase 2.
We think we send them first, the Saranac River Trail Phase 3 or rebuilding Green Street, or will they be done something?
It's the idea is that they'll be done simultaneously, and there's some questioning whether there'll be takings or not regarding property, real property in that vicinity to help expand Green Street. That's still a question, but a lot of the money will go toward that. And the redevelopment of Green Street.
And this will probably tie into the harbor side master plan.
Parts, I mean, like the Saranac River Trail Phase 3 is included in the Harborside Master Plan because it is in that area. But Saranac River Trail Phase 3 was something that has been in the works for quite some time, but now that we have the draft in hand, it does contribute to the larger scale of Harborside Master Plan. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.23, amendment to NYSEG Green Street Property Access Agreement.
Motion. Counselor Vaughn.
motion,
Second, Counselor Kelly, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
Yes.
Carried.
Item 7.24, authorized Skyward Agreement for Harborside Hotel Development.
Motion.
motion,
Counselor Bob, second, Counselor Kelly, discussion.
Well, I don't know if this has been addressed, but I still have my doubts about should this project fall apart. I think we definitely should have had in the agreement that we could buy that property back to what we paid for it. That's a very large chunk of the Harborside. And it's not like projects like this haven't fallen apart in the past. I think we should allow ourselves to be able to recoup that property should the project fall apart. I really think that would protect the city from losing a large portion of our lakeside property that we would lose control of if we didn't have something in there to protect ourselves.
Okay, so to clarify, this is not a development agreement. That comes separate from what we're talking about tonight. What we're talking about tonight is an agreement to allow the awardee of this RFP to continue to do their due diligence on the property itself. This does not convey the property. There's no agreement to convey the property. There's no agreement to sell the property in what we're voting on tonight. Subsequent to this work, that's when we go into a development agreement, which does stipulate the city's ability, the development agreement alone will stipulate the asking price and any development stipulations associated with conveying that property, which do include clawbacks or stipulations for the lack of development to then for that property to be returned to the city. It is not until the developer completes all the stipulations of that development agreement does then the sale of the property get complete and it's free and clear of any of those stipulations for development. This is not a conveyance of property. It's not an agreement of conveyance of property. This is an agreement to allow the developer to do their due diligence to then come back and we then sign that development agreement. What you're saying will be included in that development agreement, but that's not what we're voting on tonight.
Well, the reason I brought that up was because I did see the purchase price in the agreement.
Yep.
And I know we can't mention that at this point, but it looked to me like we're going a little farther down the road than what you mentioned. I just want to protect
Sure.
the city.
Sorry, there's no purchase price in the agreement. Did you do that? There's no purchase price in this agreement.
Right.
There is and has been discussed a purchase price based on an appraisal done in early 2021.
22.
22. But that's not, again, part of this agreement with the developer.
All this is saying is, yes, you can do what you need to do to buy the property.
Correct.
And then we won't go into negotiation with anybody else who wants
Yes, exactly. We're not gonna, as they're doing this work and spending money, we're not gonna rip the rug out from underneath them as they're spending money and
And looking into.
yes.
Okay.
But again, to Councilor Moore's point, this property has faced exactly that, where there's been a development agreement signed and the property was tied up with a developer who did absolutely nothing with it, and then we had to go and through legal battles to regain that property and to do what we're trying to do now. So there are protections that we will ensure that there will be protections for the city of Plattsburgh. To not convey that to somebody who may not develop.
So what is the due diligence going to consist of that they do?
Yeah, I can speak to that. They're going to do a series of environmental tests to determine the quality of the soil. If they move forward with excavation, what's as yet undiscovered contamination are they likely to find? It also allows them to begin the detailed design process, put together a site plan that can eventually be placed before the city's zoning and or planning boards for formal review and approval. Also allows them to begin the seeker process for the eventual development, which is far more complex and would be along the lines, the one that was completed for the Durkee Street project, but the developer would be wholly responsible for the costs associated with that review. This agreement simply provides them with legal justification, enough cover to commit the several $100,000s that they'll need in order to proceed to the next phase. They need something on paper with the city in order to justify that expense.
This is very early.
Correct.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
No.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore,
No,
Carried.
item 7.25, authorized MOU with Clinton County Health Department for A 4050394 subaward active community concept plan.
Motion by Councilor Gibbs, second by Councilor Talon, discussion.
I want to apologize for my total profile last week. I just read so many things that I kind of just combined them all, so my apologies.
Oh, yeah, that, I think we understood where you were
I
going with
just-
that question, but no,
Okay.
no, we understood, and it
Yeah.
honestly
It's like,
completely.
whoa.
understandable, so. This council's forgotten about it.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.26, authorizing the mayor to sign various fishing tournament and watercross agreements.
Motion, Councilor Talon, second, Councilor Bond. Discussion.
I just have one thing to bring up here that I think I know the answer to it, but I just want to bring it up. I noticed there's considerable promotional fees. I think they're mostly paid by the Adirondack Coast group or whatever.
I believe so, and anything they help promote and advertise and to bring people to the region for these events, yes.
Yeah, because somebody had that question and it's like, the way I read it, it was their responsibility on that.
Yeah, like, really our responsibility is to provide the space, but they do everything else. Yeah, and
Chamber of Commerce is probably involved too.
that is the Adirondack Coast Visitor Bureau. And also just thank you for your flexibility on adding the watercross event. It's an annual event that we host at the city beach. Actually just got a call the other day, thanking the city of Plattsburgh for hosting this event. It is family friendly and free to attend. So we did add this as part of the agreement package because it is with the same organization. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibb,
Yes.
Counselor Talon. Yes. Counselor Bob,
yep,
Counselor Moore.
Yes,
Carried.
Item 7.27, authorizing blanket approval 2023 live entertainment various city events.
Motion, Counselor Bob, second by Counselor Talon, discussion.
well, I guess I for one, and I just want to give my opinion, here, not to anyone else about this, but. I really don't think that the council should be advocating any of their oversight over any expenses. In the interest of convenience. I don't mind, that's what my job is I feel it's all our council jobs. To approve or disapprove expenses, and it's not an inconvenience for me. I think we should keep oversight over everything we have in the past, and I think we need to continue to do that.
Yeah, I agree with
I
that.
do too, I would like to speak now. interested in what's gonna be going on.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
No,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
No.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
So,
Mayor.
Yes, and positive, please. Carried.
Item 7.28, authorizing the city chamberlain to execute cybersecurity insurance policy.
Motion. Motion by Counselor Kelly, second.
second,
Second by Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.29, authorize agreement, AP landfill post-closure monitoring services.
Motion. Counselor Bob, or sorry, Counselor Gibbs, second by Counselor Kelly, discussion.
Can we get an explanation on that?
yeah, I know.
Yeah, sure. It's the same annual contract for monitoring the AP landfill, which we are required to by the DEC. Barton and Juice have done this year over year. Actually, we have a reduced cost because of the amount and level of monitoring required has reduced over time. So this is essentially an annual contract that we renew to monitor off gassing, I guess, at Lake Ake landfill, which is on Ake Road on the town line. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
Yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.30, bid award sodium hypochlorite chloride for the WRF and WFP contract WRF 2023-01.
Motion.
motion,
Counselor Kelly, second.
motion,
Counselor Bob, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.31, authorize 1-year extension for existing contract WRF 2022-03 laboratory services for the water resource recovery facility.
Motion. Counselor Kelly, second. Counselor Talon, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Vaughn,
yes,
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon,
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
yes,
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.32, 6 Mill Street seeker negative declaration.
Get the motion.
Yeah.
So motion a second. Motion. Counselor Gibbs, second.
motion,
Counselor Bob, discussion.
Okay, so this is necessary step in order to sell city property. In this case, rather than go through that very long secret form, we're able to utilize the short secret form, which is much shorter and simpler as compared to the other forms we've been reviewing. The reason for the shorter form is the sale of a specific property that potentially being sold is already been built, so there's no new development associated with it, and the parcel itself is, under, is a small parcel. So with that, we can utilize the short environmental assessment form. And if there are any questions, I'm going to run through 11 questions now. The options we have, you will recall, are either no or small, or alternatively moderate to large. Again, it's a pre-existing structure. You can see through the window, you can make it out and 6 Miller Street. So with that, the first question is, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulation? Okay. Second question, will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
Okay. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
no,
No.
Four, will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
no,
Five, will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
no,
No.
Six, will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and fail to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
no,
No.
Seven, two parts. will the proposed action impact existing A, public-private water supplies, or B, public-private wastewater treatment facilities? So both. Okay. A, will the proposed action impair the character, quality, and important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
9, will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources, e.g. Wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna?
No.
10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
No.
11, last one, will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
Okay, so in light of, the only option being selected as no or small, no or small, we can turn back to the resolution, which in this case, we anticipated that, so we prepared a negative declaration based on those anticipated responses.
Any further discussion? I'll take an all in favor. All in favor of the seeker negative declaration, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Item 7.33, authorize mayor to sign a purchase and sale agreement, deed and other conveyance documents for 6 Miller Street.
Motion, Counselor Gibbs, second. Counselor
Motion.
Kelly, discussion. I did provide, or I asked, our listing agent to provide, memos regarding the property, how it was marketed, their, assessed value, their estimated value based on square footage and market rate. I hope that satisfied, questions regarding the sale of this property. This property has been listed since when, Matt? Early 2021,
Yep,
21,
at least 18 months,
pardon?
at least 18 months.
18 months, so it's nice to see, some movement on sale of the property. Roll call.
Counselor Bond,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
Yes.
Counselor Moore.
yes,
Carried.
Item 7.34, mayoral appointments.
Motion. Counselor Talon, second by Counselor Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None opposed, carried. No executive session tonight. Is there any new business come for this council?
I just.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Kate.
Counselor Bob.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was just gonna follow up a little bit on the email from Danielle Erb. I did just wanna, maybe it's something that we should bring forward again at the Public Safety Committee when we next meet. But, one of the things that she brought up in there was the potential for a reduced speed limit across the city, or certainly in certain areas. And, we've talked a lot about different traffic calming and traffic mitigation efforts, ways to improve safety for bicyclists and for pedestrians, of course. And I think that there's something that we should consider here, and perhaps lowering, from 30 to maybe a 25. It does seem, I know I live on a 30-mile-an-hour street where people definitely take the opportunity to rip faster down it. I know, Mayor, you've seen that happen on Cumberland Ave. So I think it's something that maybe this council and certainly the Public Safety Committee should definitely
Thank you, Counselor.
discuss further.
Counselor Moore.
I'm not trying to start a discussion on either of these items because they're back in the ways, but just to put them back on the spotlight. And this one, the first one goes back to Dale Dow. This was even before I was on council. We had budgeted for money to replace the stairs at Fox Hill for the kids to be able to get back up the hill.
Okay.
And I think just before he left, it came back and
I'm
then
sorry, this became what, sir?
we had budgeted for that
Yeah.
years ago.
Yeah.
Few years ago back now, but I don't know if that's gonna be included in the park improvements that are coming up. I just wanted to remind everybody about that because I think it was old then. I remember when they pulled
Oh, they have
stairs
those
out.
old wooden stairs, just like.
Yeah, they got pulled down and we had put money aside and took them back in and. never happened. But anyway,
I'll ask Rich to dig that up and we'll send any information out to council that we can find.
and the other thing, I didn't want to get into a big discussion about this either at this point, but I would like to hear something back in the future meeting, is the property at 15 Couch Street. I know it was about a year ago that Council Bluff
Yep.
and myself and several others had, you know, wondered how that was going. It's been over a year now and haven't had any updates. I just be looking for an update, not today.
No, understood, and I will provide an update to council, with the movement that has happened, with that property. And I will say to both Counselor Bob as well as Counselor Moore, your message was received loud and clear in my office about the tolerance and lack thereof of continuing to try to come to some sensible negotiation with the players involved. And as optimistic as I can be, sometimes there has been some movement, maybe not as much as I personally would have liked, and certainly not as much as you two have made it clear. And at the time, I did say, please give me until the fall. We're well past the fall. But I will provide an update to the council on where things are at with that property. And then perhaps we can then decide from there on where we want to take it. And that's all I'll say
Thank
about that. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Any other new business? Counselor Town.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a moment to thank everybody who's involved with putting on the Tannin Boom event on Saturday and everybody who attended it. I think we all had a good time.
Great.
And it wasn't too cold this time, so nice.
If it pleases the council, I can draft a letter to our state representatives and Governor Hochul in response to Mr. Hartshorn's request for council support for SUNY funding. And I will leave it up to those members of the council who would sign on to that kind of support letter. But I will shop that support letter around to advocate for SUNY funding, especially North Country SUNY funding.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, thank you. Any new business? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Please. Motion by Counselor Moore, second by Counselor Diaz. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi,
Thanks, folks.
have a great night.
And Counselor.